glory. In Yeshua HaMashiach's mighty name, we have prayed.
Amen.
Amen. He said. So, like what I was saying is this topic, why Igbo leaders? Igbo leaders, why? Why is it that, like as I was saying, during the time of Europeans, when Hitler came, it was like, wow, this man was the light, this man was like wonder, this one was like, wow, this is exactly what we are waiting for. And from there, he started to like manipulate some of them and to like turn their brain, because to them, this is not what they are expecting. And immediately they see that in Hitler. I'm talking of Austria, because Hitler studied in the city where I live. This is where Hitler studied. In gymnasium where my wife was, where she studied, that is the same place where Hitler studied. Here in Steyr, this is where Hitler was living. So Hitler was an Austrian, not a German. Hitler was an Austrian. So I am telling you exactly what I know. Enemy that are watching, so that you will know that I'm not just lying or I'm trying to pervert the brain of the people, but I'm trying to tell you history of what that happened here. And that is why I'm saying Igbo leaders. Why? Now, after then, as they start to see the perversion and his plan, and they now realize that this man is not just maybe a charismatic liberator or someone that can actually change the situation, but to bring destructive, he's bringing destructive ideas and mentality to the people. Austrians say, no, we are not interested in this madness. This is why he left Austria and went to Germany, according to the history. And the Germans accepted him, the Germans received him. Wow, a charismatic preacher, because a liberator is always a charismatic personality. A liberator is not a moron that are walking around looking for how to siphon money from people. And a liberator should be bold. The Bible said a man who even whose heart is like that of lion, if you hear about him, he melts. That is the personality of a great liberator. And people always go after such a person. This is why people run after Hitler during those days. But don't knowing that he had different agenda from what he was trying to tell the people, because at that time, the situation was very bad. Just like as the Bible said, that the earnest expectation of the whole creation waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. The sons of God, like as you all know, is not like the pervert morons or bad or evil or criminal, whatever you call it, like in Africa. Talking of both spiritual and physical. The leaders are demonic, possessed beings. Why? Because you are leading after you're leading, and all you're leading, you lead after 30 years. And the only what one can see from your leading is corruption and perversion. Whatever man can see out of your leading is evil and contamination. What man can see out of your leading is dead and dead and dead. Automatically, that shows you that you are fulfilling the desire of your father. Who? The devil. The Bible says, for the devil come not to do what? To steal, kill, and to destroy. The pastors are only there to steal and to steal and to steal and to steal. Do you see that they are fulfilling the desire of their master, the devil? The politicians are also there to steal and to steal and to steal and to steal. Do you see that all the leaders in Africa are only fulfilling the desire of their master, the devil? And that is why there is no progress in Africa. Because under normal circumstances, with the level of church in Africa, if they were to preach on holiness and righteousness, not just only preach on holiness and righteousness, stand on the standard. Because the Bible said, in righteousness you shall be established, and in holiness you shall progress. But when that is not established, it's not only blah blah talking, it's about implementing. Like what the Ghana president was talking about. He was talking about how we can actually make a life in Africa eminent for the young youth. It's not about blah blah talking. It's not about how we can. You can. That is one thing I hate about Africans. They can grammatically explain some certain issue, and you that are listening to them, you wonder, wow, and people will be saying, hey, pastor, right Therefore, the kingdom of God is not in word. It is in the doing. Like as you could see, the Europeans does not come to blah, 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 talk all the grammatical and try to explain what they can do. The Europeans implement those things that they could be talking. And you see the fruit thereof, not talking. And how can we set Africa like this and make Africa like this and make Africa like it is not relevant. Like as I was talking, Hitler was like that. He was not only that he was talking. Hitler started to implement some certain things. And people start to see the benefit of what he was saying. And that is why people run after him. I'm talking of the Europeans now. Before his evil intention actually get radiated. Why I'm saying this is because the suffering in Europe here was as it is in Africa. Now, and a man came, and people came, even like me and you, and they did not just talk, they bring things into practice. And as they start to do those things, it start to work for them and change the score. That is why even, and it is not long time ago, that is why you see many things, or the life the people are living here. And in other words, if you go like Ukraine, if you go like Slovakia, Slovenia, Hungary, Romania, and all these poor countries, you see that the government did not actually implement those things rightly as other people were implementing. Like here in Australia, they don't have much mineral resources, like as I always say every time. They have only iron as their source of their economy. But I'm telling you, these people are living a very good life. How? These are let alone here let alone Nigeria, for instance. Let's just say Nigeria, for instance. Look, Nigeria has everything that you take from all the whole African continent to live richly. Like as the Ghana man pointed, the Ghana president pointed, that they are the one that's supposed to be distributing wealth to other European countries and other Western countries. And the answer is yes. They are doing it, although, because they are the ones that are sustaining them, but primitively, or how can I put the English, or ignorantly on their own, they are tying themselves out of selfish, stupid, envious character, and they are tying themselves and tying themselves and tying themselves. Why I say they are doing it is because, for instance, what that makes America today, most, if I'm not lying, I could say at least 70% or 75% from that make America what it is today came from Africa. Britain, 100% what make Britain today came from Africa. 100%. I say 100% because till today we remain their slave. For instance, Haiti that they colonized is no more, like they are no more. And what did Haiti have? What do they call them? India that they colonized as well. What do they have as well? And though the Indians have also liberated themselves a little bit somehow. And other continents, every other places, all the Commonwealth place where Britain colonized, all of them have actually as well a little bit liberated themselves. But Africa remain even their perpetual slave. We are talking of Ghana and Nigeria. They remain their perpetual slave. Until today, it was mostly in Africa, in Nigeria, because, for instance, Ghana, if it is not recently that I start to hear that Ghanaians has oil. They did not have, although there's like the story I had about Ghana as well, that Ghana have formerly gold, but it is not mainly the Europeans or the Britain that suck the Ghana wealth. It is who? It is one of the presidents that married an Egyptian woman, and the Egyptian woman sucked Ghana. That is exactly what I had, according to the history of Ghana. So that is to say, the Europeans are not maybe the main problem that Ghana have, because they don't have much. But in Africa, in Biafra land, where we have much, they build all their, in fact, and deck their house there, and therefore suck. In fact, suck us dry. And they continue sucking. And that is why, should I say Nigeria is one of their first son? Of course, Nigeria is not their first son. But why is it that they have much interest in Nigeria? The reason why they have much more interest in Nigeria is because of what they are gaining from Nigeria. So, and my question is, Igbo people, why? Igbo leaders. But before then, sorry, I want to say something that have just gone out of my brain. We want to congratulate all the Akwa Ibom people for their compliance to all our struggle to make sure that Biafra is restored. I want to congratulate each and every one of you. If you are an Akwa Ibom person and you're watching me now, give my thanks, please, to as many that you could see, or as many of you guys that are watching now. I want to thank each and every one of you. You guys did a great job by boycotting the zoo election. That is what we should do. Some people were texting me a message and asking me, what are we doing now? Where are we? And what is the next option? And how can the referendum come? Is exactly what we are doing that will bring the referendum at the end. Exactly what we are doing, because at the end of the day, you see when for instance in 2018 that the election will start till 2019. When the election start, and in all Biafra land and everywhere is boycotted, the way is being boycotted now, the war will come among them. And you see that the Southeast and the South governors have met together again to start to discuss on how they can really handle this very issue. That is to say, the power is in your hand, brother and sister. To get our referendum actualized, the power is in your hand. And how? When they are doing election, you sit in your home. Even if it is not to Salah, you sit in your home. Even if you don't have anything to eat, you sit at home. After all the voting they have been doing, none of them, you have not benefited from any. It is in Europe that one will say, I want to go and vote. When they are doing their recent election, my wife and some people, the mother, they say, please, I want to go and vote, I want to go and vote. But some of them, they will forget, and everybody will just rush. So you want to go and vote. Why? Because there is a guy that we are waiting for, we want to bring in. It's all right. It's all right. So there is a guy we want to bring in because the information he's giving to us is very significant, and we think that by him we can bring our country to where or what we are expecting. That is how it works. But in Nigeria, whether you vote to, whether you don't vote to, the Fulani will put whoever they want as, or whoever that is more like a humble slave to them, they will put the person in the governorship or whatever. So because of that, we really support each and every one of you. I love Biafra. I'm a total supporter of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu, not Kalu, please. Nnamdi Kanu. Chimera. Nnamdi Kanu, not Kalu. It's also Ojo that is Kalu, but Nnamdi is Kanu. K-A-N-U. Kanu, please. So, that is exactly what we are saying. We thank each and every one of you for boycotting the zoo election in Akwa Ibom State. I don't know if it is a local government chairmanship election. Thank each and every one of you for hearing the voice of our director, because some people were saying that Akwa Ibom people are not part of Biafra. Akwa Ibom is not part of Biafra, but they said that the war, the Biafran war, the ECOWAS said that the Biafran war, they give some money, even that the money should also go to all the South and South and the Lower Benue. That is to say, all the whole places that our director pointed that it is a Biafra territory. Everywhere they said the money should be distributed to other places. But still, they will tell you that that all those places are not part of Biafra. Do you see how foolish and how wicked Africa is? And you expect progress. My main talk today is not about all these things that I'm going through, but that I'm saying now. But I'm saying all these things because my heart is full with a lot of nonsense information and with a lot of rubbish that I've been hearing. And we are all, because the problem is we are all suffering the same thing. I came from Libya to Europe, and during that time, it was when Muhammad Gaddafi was still there. The Libyan people that are roasting our people like chicken, I can tell you a story about them. And that is why I believe that even till tomorrow, whatever you guys have seen on television is small to what that happens in Libya. I shows a mark of when a Libyan guy, they call asthma. because asthma boys, like as you, one guy have also said it, asthma boys, among their young youth, they call them asthma boys. Asthma boys are Arab young boys, and their young boys they don't hear. Their young boys don't hear. They don't hear English, they don't hear anything, and as far as they don't hear English, they don't hear anything. They don't even hear hi, because they are not trained. In Arab nation, let me tell you something that you guys don't know. Most of our people know that came from Libya as well. In Arab nation, in Libya, a boy of 6 years will tell the mother, Zeb, as you know, is a course of a private part. You use it to make it when you make like this, because this is a course in Arab nation. Whenever you tell somebody like this, the person will become angry with you because you are causing him in a very bad way or derogatory way. So an Arab boy of 6 years will tell the mother, Hoshdaha Zebi, Hosh Mizaboram, Hoshdaha Nekom. Hoshdaha means go inside when strangers come. A small boy of 5 years will tell the mother, Hoshdaha Nekom, and he will be causing the mother to enter house. Why? Because when the culture in Arab nation is, when a stranger comes, that all the ladies have to hide themselves. They don't need to display themselves so that people will start to see their beauty or something, because at home they don't cover their head or their eyes or something like that. So, and if you want to really want to come out, you have to cover yourself. If you want to attend to strangers when the stranger come, like most of the time we go to Arab house to work, because we are the stranger that call us I have forgotten most of Arab language. And in other words, they don't believe that they are Africans. They call themselves Arab. They don't believe that they are Africans. They call themselves Arabia. They don't, until today, they don't accept that they are African. They accept that they are Arabia. So because of that, they treat you like one of the, even why Muhammad Gaddafi was there. What I'm trying to tell you is that the nature and the way they train these people is very bad. And because of that, they regard nobody. They regard none of your personality, and they don't take you as anything. So if they harvest your organ and trade with your organ and roast the remaining of your body, they are just displaying a little bit how stupid and how deadly these men are. And these are the kind of people that are in Arab nation. And the zoo, somebody was talking one time and he was telling me, and he was like, let Nigeria government send the ECOMOG, the Western Army. They should send their ECOMOG to Libya to fight them. I was like, this guy, you never know. Guy, if you know who Arab are, you just better shut up your mouth, because I said it in my previous video that even the Western world respect them. And I learned that from our director. This is exactly on how you can really stand your ground and defeat the Westerner. The Westerner fear you when you are very derogatory, when you are very terrible, when you are very terrifying. And not just terrifying in talk, blah, blah talk. When you are terrifying in your character. They respect that. And they love that. And they want to hey, this guy we can actually use him to do something. This is who, when I'm talking about Westerners, I'm not talking of the common people, because for instance, I'm married to one of the citizens, but this is not who we're talking about. We're talking about the leading elite, the people who rule this earth. They have their representatives in all over the world, and they are one family. They call themselves Jew, but they are not actually Jew, as the Bible said, that there are some people who call themselves Jew, but they are not Jew, but they are synagogue of Satan. And they have very strong family. They're the one who control the bank, the whole World Bank. They're the one who control. This is why they are angry with North Korea. There are many mysteries that I could display here, but I don't want to say. I'll just close my mouth, because we are in the world, and that is exactly what we are experiencing here on earth. But the problem is, like as I said, Arab people are very dangerous, and if you dare them, you will receive the consequence. That is exactly the reason why, if you are telling ECOMOG or whatever, Ekomog or Nigeria army are just dancer of a python when an armless person is around. If not, if they think that the army, give Biafrans an armored tanker, and not just giving them a armored tanker, leave them a little bit and give them a little freedom of space of 2 years. And don't suppress them. And don't tell them, don't do this, don't do this. Give them that space of 2 years. Let them manufacture weapons themselves. You go and buy all the whole weapon in the world and say, let us fight war. Then you will see. Do you see that the Fulani, what do they call it, army, are only dancer in an armless environment? If they want to dance, why shouldn't they, under normal circumstances, after how many years, go and dance in a what do they call it? Why shouldn't they go and dance in a this is their evil forest they call Sambisa forest? Why didn't they go and dance there ever since? That is exactly what we are saying. But still, today, they will still tell you that they are Nigeria Ekomog. If you temper any Arab person, for instance, Nigeria or all the whole Western Africa, they just say they want to send the army to go and kill. If you try that, Iraq, Syria, and every other Arab nation will gather themselves. If they throw in fact, if they throw bomb in your place, Africa will be buried. So you just respect them. Do you see what I mean when I say Igbo people? Wow. It's very terrible. Why? After the Biafra war, the lesson we should learn from the Biafra war, because this is why I talk about Hitler. Because after the time of Hitler, the Europeans learned and they start to change some certain things. During the Hitler time, whenever they see you that you are a handicapped person, you will be killed. In other words, Hitler want to breed some certain kinds of people here. It's like, can I call it human cleansing? Because he need person with blue eyes, although he himself don't have blue eyes. But he want people with blue eyes and blonde hair in all Europe. People with blue eyes and blonde hair. So these are the kind of people they allow that time. Every other people should be killed and be wiped off. That is exactly what we are talking about. But after since all those evil come and pass, they learn and they change. Now, in Europe, whenever you are sick, the level of your sickness determines the kind of money you will be receiving. If you, I'm talking of Austria now, if you are sick that you cannot move your hand, the kind of money they will be given to your parent, there is no need of your parent working because it's already they're already satisfied with the money. That is what they learn from what Hitler did before. But today, despite the worstest war that have been fought on the face of the earth against Biafrans, mostly to the indigenous people, not that a nation and nation were just fighting. Indigenous people, worldwide, join hand, the whole worldwide join hand to fight indigenous people. And after since that war, under normal circumstances, why is Igbo leaders who remain so dark? Why do they remain so devilish? Why do they remain so demonic that even to the extent that they are creating some group of people they call some Ipob group in our means to destabilize what we are doing? Igbo leaders, why? Why? After you see even all the subjugation and the marginalization, because this one is not about when somebody is talking about marginalization, somebody will be saying, how do you, the whole Nigeria is marginalized, and this and that. What are you talking about marginalization? At least the evidence is obvious that one cannot say, what are we saying about marginalization? Under normal circumstances, Nigeria as a country is made up of at least three type of major tribe. That is the Igbos, the Hausas, and the Yorubas. The Igbos, the Hausa, both Fulani and everything is called Hausa. Now, if this be the case, why is it that if you say that there's nothing like marginalization, why is it that only the Fulani small time the Yoruba people rule? Why is it that only the Fulanis? Do you know that according to history about America, The reason why Americans, the ruler ones that are taking still the charge of the nation and did not allow like some of all the dark black people to take control, because they are the source of the wealth of America. And because of that, they sustain the country by their own power. But where the source of the zoo called Nigeria is coming from, the people are being subjugated, the people are being marginalized, the people are being suppressed, the people are being fooled every blessed day. And still, Igbo leaders, despite all what you should have learned in the previous time, you remain so dark and so daft and so demonic and so pollute. In fact, I can't describe the kind of quality of the evil among the Igbo leaders. The Igbo leaders brought what they call the Python dance. Under normal circumstances, Hausa people, the Fulani, are always saying that Ipob are threatening the unity of the zoo called Nigeria. Ipob is threatening the unity of the zoo called Nigeria, and they can do anything. And they know that they cannot do anything without the help of the Igbo leaders. And therefore, they bring small money to the Igbo leaders. And you have experienced war. Igbo leaders, you fools have experienced war. Even in a very derogatory way, you have experienced war among your siblings. And in other words, the people you brought to come and do Python dance are the same people who kill you and maim you. And in fact, they are the people who cut off our children, our mothers, our pregnant mothers. They cut off their belly and brought out the children and slaughtered the children and slaughtered the same mother. The same Buhari you brought to come and dance Python dance in Igbo land. Igbo leaders, why? Look, we are talking of Libya. Everybody is crying about Libya. I saw one shameless Igbo lady crying about Libya. Do you know why I call her a shameless lady? She's a very shameless lady. If that woman watched this video, you are a very shameless personality. You are the worstest shameless person I have ever set my eyes on. You know why? Biafrans were killed. They were maimed. Acid were poured on our people. You could not say anything. But you are crying about the slave trade in Libya. Do you now see that even the zoo citizens that are in Libya say we prefer to die in Libya than going to Nigeria? Oh, you guys didn't. Don't you see an information that the people, even the UN, say they want to help them? They say no, we don't want. It's only the fearful ones and the small ones, the ones that believe that maybe peradventure, the life here is very terrible. These are the ones that want to go. The harder man, the man who believe that if it is that, let us die here. They said we better die here than going to Libya and going back to Nigeria. That is exactly what happened in my time. For a long time now, I did not see this guy from Imo State. Otaka is his name. I've forgotten his Igbo name, but he always be Otaka. This guy, while we were in Libya, we were talking about, the situation. They said the situation is very hard. To cross maintenance is very hard and all this thing. And one were like, hey, let us go back to Nigeria. Otaka told me, I better die in Libya than to go to Nigeria. And I was like, brother, that is exactly where I was stand. Because even, was it Obasanjo that time, I forgot, is Obasanjo, the president, send, what do they call it? Was it Obasanjo or who that time said? Send a plane to come and I had a dream about it, that they want to deport people. And they sent plane to deport us because their life, despite that Muhammad Gaddafi is there, but the life that time is very terrible. They are not killing us, but we beg for food. We beg for food. And when we meet some Nigeria, government workers in one restaurant, in one supermarket, they went to bar, and I was begging, please, you guys should give me food to eat. Do you know what the guy, one of the women told me? What are you doing in Libya? Why can't you go back to Nigeria? You know that I crossed desert to come to Libya, and I am very hungry. And you are telling me, why can't you go to Nigeria? Why can't I should use desert to go back to Nigeria? That is what you mean. But when the president later said, okay, he sent plane to deport all the Nigerians and African people that are in Libya, I want to tell you that most of us did not me personally with Otaka and many of us say, we better die here than going to Nigeria. That is how evil and derogatory, how shameless, how useless the zoo called Nigeria is. Until today, Igbo leader, why are you so wicked? That is how in fact, I want to say something again. We are talking of Libya. Do you know how many Igbo citizens are being killed every blessed day in one secret society, in one secret prison, in all over the world? Most of the time, drug trafficking, they kill this one, they kill this one, fire this one, firing squad, kill this one, firing squad, kill this one, they will kill this one. Was it since the day before yesterday, about 7 or 8 of them is ready to, they say 600 of them are waiting to be killed by a firing squad. 600 of them. Who are these people? Nigerians. From which tribe? Igbo and Yoruba and other tribe. Why is all this life like that? Why are your citizens being wasted like a fool? Why? Because of bad government. Because of useless Fulani people that never travel and never go anywhere apart from the ones they send to, what do they call it, to America by their rich parents, and the ones they send to London. And you become so shameless that even despite all this evil that is happening, you went and invited Operation Python Dance to come and dance even on your own foreland. In fact, Igbo leaders, to me, I can't maybe describe the wickedness and in fact, the evil nature of Igbo leaders. And it is very bad. But glory be to the Almighty Chukwu Abiyama, who have sent our person, even the liberator of the black world. And the whole black world is very wicked. But Igbo people, your own is the worst. The whole black world is very useless, is because with all the evil that is happening in Libya, the only what Ghana president can say is that let us create a convenient environment for our young youth. It's not about let us create a convenient environment. What are you talking about, convenient environment? You are a very useless being, you Ghana president, because you see the evil that is happening and you close your mouth. Don't you hear about the killing of the young people in Biafra land? The Ghana president, don't you hear about how Mohammed Buhari is killing Biafrans? Why? Because we say we want to be free, because the suffering is very terrible. And Ghana president, you also be a witness within yourself, because you say that you guys have failed the citizens of African continent. And you guys know you have failed. And what our leader came to do alone, and what IPOB is only doing alone, is that we are telling you guys that you guys has failed. And because of your failing, we are suffering. We are only crying because we are suffering. That is exactly what IPOB is doing. We are crying out of pain and out of subjugation and out of suffering and out of enslavement even in our own land. And President Trump said it recently, that Africans are like slaves even in their own land. And that is what IPOB stands for. We said that the suffering is very terrible. We said that the suffering is too much. We said that the suffering is unbearable. And we can't bear the suffering anymore. We cannot. And not only that, it's just that we are the light. That is only the difference. The difference is that we are the light. If not, does it mean that only the Biafrans are suffering the same thing that they are suffering in Africa? The answer is no. Black Americans have created different kind of means of expressing their suffering in America. And they even create what they say, Black Lives Matter. And not only that, they said that, I was reading in Facebook where they said, let us create a different nation for black people in America so that we can live separately out of this suffering and subjugation. That is to say, the whole black world are suffering very terribly. We are suffering. But we being the light of the world. We being the salt of the nation. We who are, until we survive or that we perish, that is why we are crying out. That is the difference between IPOB and different kind of other personalities that are on the face of the earth. Because the same thing is what we are suffering. Are we not suffering the same thing? The Edo people, the Yoruba people, and every other people that they are roasting in Libya, are they Biafrans? The answer is no. The whole people that they are killing and roasting in Libya, from Cameroon, from Liberia, from Senegal, and from other nationalities, even from Ethiopia, are they all Igbo Biafrans? The answer is no. Then what are we talking about? That is to say the whole black continent are suffering, and the people close their mouth. Why? Because they are fools. But we Biafrans say no. That this suffering is too much. Even among our ladies and among our young men, and in different dimensions, our ladies are finishing themselves with prostitution. Our ladies are finishing their life with prostitution. Come to Europe here, most of all the children are born out of this useless kind of character of ours. And you yourself, as being a leader, you don't even think and say, what will be the future of these children that are born in this derogatory way? In other words, go to Napoli, go to Italy, you will see a mother who has born a child and she's still doing prostitution. I want to tell you, you will see a Nigerian woman that is pregnant and she's a prostitute. I have seen her with my eyes in Napoli, Casavatino. In Casavatino, in Napoli, a pregnant Nigerian woman doing prostitution. I am not lying, I have seen her with my naked eyes. And as many of you that are watching Prevention might have witnessed, or you might have, if you live over there, you will witness and you will tell me that what I'm saying is true. A pregnant woman doing prostitution. Imagine when a woman is pregnant and is doing prostitution. What kind of baby will she born out of a prostitute field? A woman pregnant and you're doing prostitution. Different demonic spirit. And you know what? The Italians like to have sex with a pregnant woman. When you are pregnant and you're doing prostitution, they run after you like as if you are the hottest cake. That is the situation that Africa, being a black man, that is the situation we have found ourselves. The only difference, as I said, is that IPOB came out to say no to all this shit. That in fact, enough to this madness. And still, out of this, Igbo leaders went and invite Operation Python dance. I want to tell you something. As far as Africa is concerned, and as far as the continent continues to live like this, we are a shame. We are a byword. We are nonsense. We are slaves, and there is nothing good that can come out of us. Here in Europe, for instance, if you say you don't want to do prostitution, do you see the reason why you got to do the prostitution? It's not by force. But it is out of frustration that you have to make sure that you have to do it. I said it before, and I will say it again. I can do it. Go and watch Fireman. Okay, you give him Fireman.
I did it 3 times. He's not able to keep it, and I can't stay.
And then you guys should take it there so that you can watch. Chika, come and bring the Fireman.
Put it on the...
Go and take the computer.
No, I put it on the TV.
Go on. Jeff Mama, he will put it in the TV so that you watch, okay? Go and watch the Fireman. What am I trying to say? Look at the situation of Africa. For instance, here in Europe, you are a woman and you live here in Europe. For instance, you live in Italy. Even though you have an Italian 5 years document, you cannot work here in Austria. Why? Because the document does not permit you to work here. And if you want to work here in Austria, peradventure, let me just say, okay, Austrians, okay, come and work here. If you want to work here, you don't speak Dutch. So you have to learn Dutch. You have to have driving license. You have to have this, you have to have that before you can be allowed. In other words, you have to have working experience. Now, if you don't have, even me that have work, I have Austrian document long time, and I could, you know why I could not work a long time? I could not work because there is no, I don't have a working experience. Then I have to go into my own personal companies. Then I created a company, went there. But what if you don't have the document that permit all these things? Then I do my own personal company and I work a while. So they see that this guy, if you can run your own property, that you even contributed to government, it means you are capable of working in our company. This is why when I now resign from my own personal company and I look for a job, immediately I start to look for a job in different places. This is the experience in Europe. That is what I want to say now. What if you have an Italian document and you want to come here? Because before you can maybe legibly want to work here in Australia when you have their passport. Then you have ordinary, normal Italian document. And you come here, or Greece government, or Spanish document, and you come here. Because Spain, Greece, and Italy is easy way where African come from, African continent, enter here. So if you enter all those places, even Hungary, if you enter all those places, you can't work with the document here in Austria, because Austria is a very good country. Therefore, if you cannot work, what then will you do as a woman? What then can you do? Who will sustain you on the time where you have to wait and study Dutch and do driving license and do this one, so that at the ending of the day, and you have to live in a house. In other words, we have seasons here, cold seasons, spring seasons, and summer seasons. We have 4 types of seasons, autumn seasons. So those seasons are not convenient. Not all the seasons are convenient in sleeping outside. So what if you come in one of those seasons, and at the end of the day, little while, the cold come? How then can you walk here? That is why you must indulge yourself in prostitution. Do you see that prostitution is not a choice? It is a sign of necessity, that it is an obligation, and you have to do it to survive. Because you can't do that thing apart from doing it. What else can you do? And some say people are into drugging and the Igbos are into drugging. What then? For instance, I came here in Austria in my first time in 2010, after I have suffered in all different parts of Europe, and I came here. Probably by the grace of God, they did not see my hand. Okay, the Lord is doing it. That is exactly how He has been doing it. And they did not see your hand. Then they complain to you. You seek asylum because that you have to lie. Do you see the reason why? In fact, the pastors in the zoo called Nigeria is as wicked as Satan himself. I said it before, that Satan is more holier than the pastors in Nigeria. Satan is more holier than the pastors in Nigeria. The reason is because your leadership in the zoo called Nigeria contribute nothing to the citizen. And the Bible says you are the light of the world. So if your leadership contribute nothing, you are nothing but of your father, the devil. Why? Because the devil is only interested in destroying. He contribute nothing. And because of that, you are of your father, the devil. Let me tell you the reason. As a pastor, you're only interested in taking off tithe offering, this and that. A pastor from Nigeria, I will not mention his name here, came to Italy. He was giving the testimony that after the Italian convention of that day, that a lady that was leading the choir that night went to her normal business, which is prostitution. And at that night, she was killed by Italian rebels who have sex with her. After they have sex with her, they say, "You bloody shit. Maybe we did not enjoy your sex," or something like that. They blast her head. Boy, she died. These are the citizens of the people you are collecting tithe from. You are collecting offering from. You are collecting and collecting their vote from. These are these citizens. And the Western are having sex with them, and after they have sex with them, they even bring their dog to fuck them. Why? Because this is it. And you have to do it. If you don't do it, this is gone. I blast off your head. Then they have to fuck the dog and fuck the man. Because the man also, you see, most of them are very useless. They fuck dog, fuck snake, fuck all sorts of nonsense. Then after they fuck you and their snake, their dog fuck you finish, and they tell you, we did not enjoy your sex, they blast her head. That is the citizens of the zoo called Nigeria, and you say you are proud to be a Nigerian. You are a useless demon on this face of the. In fact, your demonic nature is worse than the Satan himself. I said it before and I will repeat it again. Your useless nature is worse than that of the Satan. Because Satan is just a deceiver, but you are a killer, a murderer, and a demon. In fact, all sorts of demonic, no wonder you are worse than demon, because all sorts of demonic spirit embedded in you. And that is why you are more wicked than the devil. Nigerian citizens, you come here, you seek asylum. After you seek asylum, and you have nobody here in Europe who can sustain you with some kind of small money, and you have to live in a house. Okay, in a house, government sometimes provide a house, but they provide a house in a local village. They provide a house in a local village that is very far from the city. Oh my God. When they provide you a house in a very far local village, because the system in Italy is different. The system in Italy is that when they give you document, or after you seek asylum, they will tell you go, you can stay anywhere you like. But not of Austria here. Of Austria here, they will tell you, okay, the situation in Austria here is that they will send you to a place, and when they send you to a very far village where you have no access to the cities, and my brother, you are maybe probably 40 years old, or you are maybe probably 35 years old, or you are maybe probably 45 years old, and then you have to stay and wait for document. Oh my God. Waiting for document, you are not sure that in 10 years time that the document will be given to you. But what if you are 40 years and you waited for like 17 years to get their document? Do you see it now? If, for instance, you are 40 years old and you have to wait for 17 years, that is what? 57 years old before eventually you will get their document. And when you get their document, and your real age is in your passport, you look for a job. They look at you, 57 years old. Papa, you are too old. You can't work even in McDonald's because you are too old. We need young blood that can work for us. Therefore, you will stay in your house because you are too old. You cannot. Then what is the essence of waiting for this 17 years, waiting for one document that you are not sure of? Do you see the reason why people indulge into drugging and different kind of other evil that is happening here in Europe? Do you see why some of the ladies enter into prostitution? And I want to tell you, a lady that is living in Europe that is not into prostitution, she is a shame. A lady that lives here in Europe that is not into prostitution, they will tell you that you are a curse. Your family, they will say you are a curse. And they will tell you that they curse you because your life will be a stinking life. In Europe, not only in Europe, you need money to maintain yourself. For instance, in Europe here, we have some jacket. We have some jacket that is mainly for old women. And people and if you want to wear it, you wear it as an old person, because as an old person, fashions is already out of your way, so you can wear it as an old woman. So a young blood, a young brother, a young sister cannot wear such this guy's jacket. So she has to wear a new modern jacket that will, most of the time we look for fitness, and she's looking for a jacket that will give her fitness. And those jackets, it costs a lot of money. Then, how then can you do it when you're not in the prostitution? Do you know how much government gives? Most of the time, government gives some kind of money that, as far as here is concerned, you can't even live with it. Like, if you want to buy African food. Like, okay, you want to, let me just say, only to eat African food. The money that will give you in a week cannot reach you to buy a ticket from the village you are to the city where you can buy African food, because here is Europe, this is not Africa, where you can have access to all the whole African food everywhere. This is Europe, so there's a specific place in which you have to go before you buy African food. And those places, the money they give to you is not capable of taking you through train to go there. Then, how then can you go there and eventually say you want to buy African food? Do you see why, as far as you are a lady, you do no prostitution here in Europe? You are a shame. You are a shame because you can't even feed yourself. And as far as you cannot feed yourself, you cannot also buy clothes that is beautiful for yourself. Therefore, you will be stinking as a woman because you can't maintain yourself. And the woman that cannot maintain herself, she will be stinking. In fact, at the time, madness will enter your brain. Do you see why some of our ladies, even though they sell some business to make small money, run into madness? There are many adult ladies. I'm not this. When I say adult, I'm not just using it to insult, because To me, I cry when I saw her. I cry most of the time. Because the situation this girl finds herself is very terrible. And I cannot advise her because most of the time I try to attract her to talk to her. And she like flinging me away. Why? Because to her, why did I want to talk to her? What is the need of me talking to her? Because I'm not a white person that can actually help her. Because if it is a white person that could say, okay, come let me marry you. Okay, peradventure, the white man. And she don't want to do prostitution because she's a very kind, good woman. I believe that because a woman who come here and she's suffering all this nonsense and she don't want to do prostitution, it means she's a good woman. Then her life is like a shame. And this woman, do you see the reason why you don't blame any person from all this madness and from all this rubbish that is happening to our citizens? And I want to tell you, that is why a man and a woman and a young blood in Africa say they better die in Libya and let them be roasted like chicken than going back to Nigeria. Because even in Nigeria, it is the worst. Even in your own country, you have to indulge in prostitution even in Nigeria as a woman to survive. The reason is because they pay you 18,000 naira. 18,000 naira. When I said this in my company, they laugh at me. And you don't laugh at me, although they will laugh at you because you are a black man. You are a fool. You are a black man. You are a slave. You are a nonsense. You are nothing. You are a monkey. You are not a human being. And you look at these white people, for instance, you look at white people that are saying you are a fool, you are this, you are that, you are that. And because of that, they laugh. You know why? You see why? And you see them. White people don't brush their teeth. White people don't brush their teeth. So you see, even while they are talking to you, they close your mouth. White people don't brush their teeth. White people don't know how to take shower. Because when they go to shower, even the angels once that I was thinking that if you enter inside the bathroom and pour some water and some soap, at the end of the day, they will come out. Although, normally, white people, it's very hard. That I don't know if it is dirtiness don't come to their body or what. Because I have seen some of them that most of the time, even though no matter how long they stay and they take shower, the water remain as clean as it is. But we black people, this is why I know that we are the original creation of God. But because we have left the Almighty, this is why we are suffering of what we are suffering. If you bath as a black man, you just stay like 1 or 2 days. If you go and bath, brother, the dirtiness that will come out of your body will scare you away from the bathtub. But to them, and that is why, maybe that is why they don't take shower, because they just pour water. You know that what? White people don't use cream. So, to me, if I see most of the primitivity of white people, I don't see why I can compare myself to their own personalities. I'm talking of some of them. But as still, despite those things, they look you like a shame. You know why? Because you are a fool. Why? Because your president, your governor, and all your leaders are shit. They put you in a very derogatory way. That is why you come here to be begging them. And why you are begging, like as you know, the Bible said that the learner is a servant to the borrower. The learner is a servant to the borrower. Whenever you are borrowing something, whenever you are expecting from your person, the person hand is always your hand is always down, and the person is superior. You are the one making yourself making the person a superior over your head. That is why if they did not regard you here in Africa or in America, anywhere in Europe, I mean, if they did not regard you as a person, then you have to send all the anger back to your leaders. Your leaders have set you in a very useless form that, in fact, you are nothing but a curse. Do you see why you don't say? And somebody will say, then why do you travel out of Nigeria? Why do you travel out of Nigeria? Do you know why I travel out of Nigeria? I would have died as a go-slow hawker, which I am. Right from to 1997, I served in a go-slow in Shagam Toget. Me, I would have died as a go-slow hawker in Nigeria. So, you see that even in Nigeria, you are just a byword shit. You are nothing but a useless moron. Why? because your governor, your president, and all the House of Representatives who you send to go and represent you are criminal. And Fulani are using the advantage to enslave you and to slave everybody among us. Do you see why the zoo called Nigeria, as far as I'm concerned, the zoo called Nigeria is a very useless, devilish cage that don't need to exist. Wherever you come from every African continent, and you say, no, that Biafrans, you own done too much. You own done too much. I was laughing at, what do they call his name? I was laughing at, what is that the name? Baba, what is that the name of this fool? What is that his name? What is that his name? Charlie Boy. I was laughing at Charlie Boy. No, I was laughing at Charlie Boy. You may call yourself anything. Area mother, area father, area grandchildren, area grandfather. But Charlie Boy, who said, I am leading what he called our Mumu Don't Do, went and gathered his Mumu Don't Do group. For you to say your Mumu Don't Do, show that you are a Mumu. It means you are a Mumu. For you to say your foolishness don't do, show that you are a fool. In fact, you are a fool. And you know what? They went around. So that they went and occupied Libyan embassy. The way they are enslaving our people, we are here to show their anger. You are not showing anger. Arab people are asthma. No, Arab people not are asthma. And asthma, asthma boys. Although we call them asthma boys because asthma means to man. When you are talking to a man, you say asthma. When you are talking to a female, you say asthma. So, but when you are talking to real man, you say rajil because a man is rajil. But you know, in Nigeria, somebody will go to Mecca to say he wants to become a Raj, and that they call a Hajj. Now, a man is, and a woman, like as I said, is a Raja. That is a Hajja. So, but you know, African people always change things. You don't. In Libya, every elderly man is Rajil in their destiny. So you don't need to go to Mecca to become a Raj, or a Hajj, or Hajja, or all this madness that they are calling. If somebody go to Mecca, you say you become Hajj, you become Al-Hajj. Yeah, Al-Hajj. Allah is the God of Arab. Then the Raj is a man. So what they mean is that when they go to Mecca, they become a man of God.
Hajj is the journey.
Yeah?
Journey. Hajj is the journey.
No, I'm talking of Raj. Whenever you call somebody Raj. Yeah, Raj is a man, and whatever they call it is distinct. So I don't know why but because in Libya, I never see when a man is called Al-Hajj. I never see when a man is called Al-Hajj in Libya. But these men are very derogatory, they are very thorough. In fact, they are very terrible, and most of them are worse than who I can call Muhammad Gaddafi. So if for Charlie Boy to go and occupy an embassy of Libya, say we are showing our anger. Do you know why you are a fool? And no wonder you call yourself your Mumu don't do. You are a fool because for you to go and be telling Libyans that our Mumu don't do, it shows that you are a very stupid person. The people they are roasting told you that it's better they roast them in Libya than to die in the zoo. Then you went to tell Libyan government that our Mumu don't do. Do you see that you're a very stupid person? I'm talking to all the whole African people, wherever you are, whether in America, whether in Australia, in France, and all the whole places where they did demonstration. You are you guys are all useless sort of being. I don't know if I'm the one you are insulting. Do you know why I say you guys are all useless sort of being? Is the people that causes all this havoc that is making our young people to be running away, to be dying in different kind of cultism and a lot of rubbish, and sending themselves to different kind of places where they're being killed The reason is because the government of African continent contribute nothing but zero. And IPOB, who is only here to lament to the lamentless, to cry to the cryless, and to as many that cannot voice their voice. That is what we are here. We are only representing the fatherless, the weakest, and the weaker vessels, and the one who cannot actually say something. That is who we are. And they are killing us, and you in all African continent. And you, wherever you are, being a black monkey, all of you, keep silent. And you could not do anything about it. But today, you are reaping out of the implication of the cry we are crying. And today you are crying that Libyans are roasting you. You will be roasted and fried. They will not only roast you, they will fry you. They will fry you. You don't have to listen because you are a useless baboon. You can call whatever you call yourself. You just shift out of this place. I am not here for you. I'm talking of Juan. You are not here, and I'm not here to talk to you. I am only here to talk to Biafrans and to as many that can listen. Whether you are the situation in Africa or in Libya, do you want to blame Libyan government? Did Libya tell you to cross desert to come to their country? The answer is no. Every continent on the face of the earth, they are protecting their economy. They don't want people, population to surface everywhere so that at the end of the day, the citizens will not have anything to do. And this is why they say, we don't need you anymore in our land. Then the place where they could be the one that will be sustaining the people, and the people are pumping their useless money to America, to London, to all manner of places, and you are seeing those people, and you are telling the people here that what are they doing? Or you want to blame all our ladies that are doing prostitution. Then you are a very stupid person, because I myself have witnessed and have seen the nature of those ladies, and you don't blame any of them for prostitution. Why will you blame any lady that came here for prostitution when she don't even... Have you ever seen in a video some of them ladies, even their mother are crying in Africa, that even since when the daughter came here, that the daughter did not send anything. So she had to do a prostitution here in Europe to send to the poor mother in Africa before she can leave. She had to do prostitution here in Europe to send to the poor mother in Europe before she can leave. And you know what? Right from while all those things is happening, the mother is crying that she cannot even send anything. And you tell yourself a black person. Although this year gone, I don't know what her name is. In fact, Nkechi, there's a woman here that you need to block for me. Please block her. I am not here to talk to whoever that is not interested. And do you see why? That is why African continent, I said it before. Yuan, let me look for her name. You have to block her, please. Juan or Joan, I don't know, in Dutch you can say Joan or Joan. Vagwan, I don't know the kind of African country where this one is coming from. And you should be the one that is very ignorant because you know nothing. I live in Europe. Not only that I live in Europe, I have traveled different parts of Europe. I came through land. From Lagos, Nigeria. Let me tell you how I travel my route. From Lagos, I entered Benin Republic. From Benin Republic to Malaven. From Malaven to Parakou. From Parakou to Niamey. From Niamey to Agadez. And from Agadez, we'll take a route to Libya, where we landed in Gat. From Gat, we go to Obari. From Obari, I moved to Horn. From Horn, I moved directly to Tripoli. And from Tripoli, before I took my journey, after many years, before I took my journey out, there to Italy. And from Italy, the suffering in Italy was very terrible. In 2006, that I said, I cannot bear this nonsense, before I went to Switzerland. From Switzerland, I came back to Italy again because they did not accept me. Before I went back again, second time. And from second time, I traveled directly. After I came to Italy, I traveled from Napoli down to Hungary to Budapest. From Budapest, before I came to here in Austria, where I eventually get my stand. So I got a lot of experience. Do you understand that? So you calling me an ignorant person show that you are a fool, because you have no idea of how life is. I have seen Our Lady with a pregnant and she was doing prostitution. Me have seen her. If you think it is a lie, you can ask some Nigerians that live in Napoli. They will tell you the kind of life that black people are suffering. They will tell you that some of our young girls are into prostitution. Young girls that could be in primary school are into prostitution in Italy. Why is all this madness? Because our leaders have failed us. Yes. It is not because, do you want to do a prostitution? Do you know what prostitution is in Europe? You don't know what prostitution is in Europe. And so she's based in America. This is why she's doing all this foolishness, because they are just suffering out of white people there, and they themselves, they don't know how to deliver themselves. And they are angry with us in Africa here, in Africa. But for you to be angry with us, you have to be angry with our leader, because it is our leader that sell your ancestors. Your leader are the one who sell your ancestors to Italy, to America, not we. And we are crying because of the work of our leader. It is too derogatory. It is very bad. It's evil. The way the black leaders are training black people. And like as you can also see and hear what I'm saying, that I am not lying, but saying the truth, is that even Ghana president has come out to voice out all this abomination and to all this. How can I describe the character of African leaders? And the guy said that we have not actually, not me, because I'm not among them, because I'm not a leader of any of all their nonsense. I'm only a leader among Biafrans, among Ipob, I mean. So they have said that the leaders have not actually done anything to see if African continent can advance. After how many years? Singapore, I want to tell you something about Singapore. Go and do your research. I don't know if they have changed it now, but Singapore passport is one of the strongest passports in the whole world. Singapore passport is number one strongest passport in the whole world. Singapore. Why? Because their economy is booming. And any Singapore citizen traveling to anywhere is not traveling as a beggar. A Singapore citizen traveling to anywhere, he's not traveling to see whether he can be looking for where they can attach and the government will be assisting. This is why Singapore passport is the strongest in all over the world.
And they got their independence at the same time.
And they got their independence at the same time with Nigeria. Singapore got their independence at the same time like Nigeria, but today their passport is the strongest in all over the whole world. Why? Because they have some brown skin, not because they are black people. And we should not be ashamed of ourselves. Germany is the second strongest passport in the whole world. Why? Because as a German citizen, whenever a German citizen is entering your country, of course you should know that she is not, or he is not coming there to beg for food. He's coming there to spend what they have, what she have. So, in other words, as a guy, whenever you have one of the rich, they will say, if you enter into the hand of one of the rich German or more, you don't change. Life don't change. So, we as a black person, we have to always, does it mean that it is a perpetual program that we have to always depend on the so-called white people before we survive? The answer is no. Our leaders know that they are doing evil, and Ghana president lamented about this nonsense. And you now trying to insult me and tell me that I'm an ignorant, it means you are very used. In fact, your brain is not working, because I have experienced a lot of rigor. In fact, if I explain to you the kind of suffering I have suffered from desert, and not only in desert, in Nigeria as a whole. I was a ghost law hacker, I always say it. I'm not ashamed of it. I could be ashamed if I have not done it. But I have done it. A ghost law hacker, I hawk in the ghost law tea. I came out from the zoo called Nigeria. I hawk in the ghost law tea. I came out of the zoo. In other words, I was a school dropout. I was a school dropout because I cannot sustain my first, and my family are not capable of sustaining me. This is why I dropped out in the school and I entered Go Slow Hawk in order to sustain myself. That is the kind of nature of the zoo that you call Nigeria, that human beings are even proud to be a citizen of. That is exactly why they are roasting you like chicken in Libya. In fact, That is why they harvest your organ. And when they harvest your organ, they use your organ to make a lot of money. And you know what? They fry you like a chicken, like a turkey. You know why they are frying you? Because they are frying you because they have made a lot of money out of your organ. And the one that they cannot actually eat, they just use it to display, to say, you fuck motherfucker, we roast you like a moron because you were a fool. And you know what? Who put the situation of those young men that they are roasting? Who put them in that state? It is the leader of African continent. You guys are all shame. That is exactly, and in fact, like as I said from the beginning, the worst among them all are Igbo leaders. Igbo leaders, you are the worst fools that I have ever set my eyes or see on the face of the planet Earth. Because you guys are saying you are wise. We call Hausa people Aboki. A guy was saying this thing yesterday. We call Hausa people Aboki. We call them Aboki, although they call us in Yamiri. But we call them Aboki. Aboki under normal circumstances is friend. Then whenever you say Aboki, it sounds like a fool. But you know what? Who is a fool among two of us now? The Aboki or the Nyamiri? Of course, the Nyamiri is the worstest fool so far. Because the Aboki are using their intellectuality to subdue you. The Bible says wisdom built her house and through knowledge. So you see, it is through wisdom and knowledge that you can subdue a nation without strength. And these people are using their intellectuality to perpetually put you as a slave. And sometimes they will give you small money. They will call her as an Igbo. And he, being the smart man, he will wear as an Igbo. They will give you a red cap. And to him, the red cap is just to fool you, because he cannot put the king of South. What do they call the Caliphate, Sokoto Caliphate? You cannot put the Sokoto Caliphate garment on you, but you can put the king of Igbo man. You can put it on the Fulani, and the Fulani will say, see this mumu. Then they will fool you. They will say, it's a Igbo, what do you want? Okay, you know what? We will give you 1 million naira. Hey, Buhari has done it again. We will support Buhari because he give you 1 million naira. You know what? The shoe he's wearing in his leg worth more than 2 million naira. The shoe he's putting, the shoe Buhari is putting in his leg worth more than 2 million naira. And he's giving the whole, what he call Ezendigbo. He's giving you people 1 million. This is why you wear red cap like a poor moron and be roaming around and be begging. You know what you have to do, Ezendigbo? You stand on your ground and say to the zoo government that the way our people are suffering from being killed by drug, from being killed by prostitute, from being killed by different kind of nonsense in all over the world, we are tired of this nonsense and things have to change. If they give you bribe, because the Bible says bribe the eyes of the wise man. If they give you bribe, you resist it. That is what our director made, that make him the greatest man that have ever existed. As far as I'm concerned, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the greatest black man that have ever existed in my generation. I don't know in your own generation. I don't know whenever you people can say or what you can ever say. But Nnamdi Kanu is the greatest man that have ever lived in my generation. Because the Bible said, a man who swore to his heart and changed not his mind. He swore to his heart and he saw the danger and death. He resisted and he said, either you give me Biafra or bury me and put me in the grave. That is the greatest man that I have ever seen in my time. In other words, a man who saw the marginalization, a man who saw the subjugation, a man who saw the suffering and the lamentation, the cry of the poor and the powerless, and the motherless and the fatherless. And he came out and said, this madness must stop because these people are like human, even as we are. In other words, this guy have an international passport, not just a British passport. He's a British citizen. And as a British citizen, you have heard from one of our callers about all the rights, about even for you. In fact, those guys that are being roasted as a chicken in Libya, if they are being given opportunity to go to Britain, they will tell you, wow, the Almighty have done it again. But you know what? This guy have British citizenship, and he threw it on the ground and said, you Britain citizenship, you can take your fork. But the life of this guy that are being roasted worth more than your citizenship? Do you see the greatest man that have ever existed? The man they are roasting like a chicken, his life worth to me more than your citizenship. You can take your madness, but let this boy be free. And you want to tell me that that is not the greatest man that have ever existed? As far as I'm concerned, I don't know the color of Jesus Christ, whether he's a black man. Of course, I know he's a black man, because it's only black people that can lay a down life. I have experienced it in my time. On the face of the whole earth, with all the suffering Africans are suffering, I have not seen a white person who will say, hey, this is madness, because under normal circumstances, Trump have the authority and the power to stop this madness that is happening among Biafrans and among Africa. But you know what? He restricted himself. Obama, who they call the black powerful man, of course, I have not seen him as any power, as anything, because if he is, the black community will be liberated. In other words, the black continent. Instead of black continent being liberated, he's even enslaving us again, trying to introduce homosexuality and a pervert abomination unto us. This is wickedness. And as far as he is concerned, to me, I don't see him as the greatest black man that have ever existed. Why is it that Obama, under normal circumstances, cannot tell Fulani, the way you guys are doing these people, you guys, they are my blood, they are my people, they are my, as far as I'm a black person, I will stand on the cause of these people. Do you know that Obama was like Christ unto black people? Obama was a hope of black men. People were like, hey, as far as this guy, I said it while I was in Switzerland in 2009, when they declared Obama, the president of America, I told them that this guy is worse. And the people say that you are mental in your brain because he is a black man. And I told them it's not about black man. But I want to tell you this man is worse. But they thought that I'm lying. But today they have seen that he is even worse. What am I trying to say? I have never seen a greatest black man on the face of the earth more than great Nnamdi Kanu. This guy know the suffering and how our girls are being killed after they have fucked them. The white people will fuck them, and their dog will fuck them, and when they fuck them finish, even while the dog may be fucking them, maybe they will blast her on her head. Why the dog is fucking her? That is how wicked human beings are. And you know what? The girls being killed like that. Why? Because of suffering from the zoo called Nigeria. Therefore, a man told you, take British citizenship, but let the life of these girls be spared. And you are telling me that that person is not the greatest person that have ever existed? As far as black people are concerned, black people are only interested in their selfish interest and in their glory. Black people, as black nature is concerned, black person want to always show that I am the greatest, I'm the richest, I'm the most powerful, I'm the most beautiful, I'm the most handsome, I'm the most... Do you know how makeup, the makeup that is reigning now is mainly in the life of black people? Because if you come here in Europe, it's very difficult to see an European lady. I never see European big ladies. I never see in my eyes European girls that they say these are the big babes. I never see them. And most of the time I always like, where are all these big babes? Because if you see sometimes in internet, in television, you see some models and things like that, and some people like that, but you can't see them physically. Why? Because among people, they are like common people. Or sometimes you can see that some of them maybe when you go where they are, the quarter where they are living, like as my wife have said. But if you go there where they are living, you will see they were also like normal people with their dog parading all around.
We don't like fake.
But do you see it? But you can come and tell them. But here in Nigeria, you will see some ladies they call big babes. In Africa, you will see wearing their high heel and all their this, and they are calling them big babe. And these babe are nothing but painters of face and painters of nose and everywhere. But here in the Western world, the people never paint too much like that. Why is all this nonsense? Why is all this madness? What I'm trying to say is that is the glue, that is what black people like. But upon that, the nature of a black man, Nnamdi Kanu, our leader, throw down all those glory, all those prestige, all those honor. He threw them down and said, these people must be liberated. In other words, they gave him what that could make him more glorious, because to become one of the they call them oil muggers. They call them oil muggers, oil muggers. You see all the big names. They call them oil muggers, oil businessmen, oil this, oil that. These are opportunities that they have given to this man, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And he said, take all your opportunity away, but liberate this girl. That why she was being fucked and dog, maybe the dog is fucking the girl in the ass, and the white man is fucking her in private part, and one man will use gun to blast her head. That is the life of black people here in Europe, and every blessed day they fuck and kill them like that. And Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, all this madness is enough. Liberate these people from me. Why? Set these people free. Let them live their own life. And you tell me that that guy is not the greatest? He is not the greatest black man that I have ever seen? In fact, Igbo people, I don't know what I can credit as your own wicked act, because the nature of your wickedness, I'm talking to Igbo leaders now, is more worse than the Fulani that they are killing our people. The reason why I say this is because the Fulani cannot do all what they are doing if Igbo leader did not give them the right. You cannot tell me that all the Igbo leaders are as weak as one man in Yoruba land. All the Igbo leaders, but still only one man in Yoruba land ban the Fulani, and he said, if you come here, you will face the rod. Until today, you have never heard that any Fulani invaded Ekiti state, let alone to talk about killing one Ekiti person. One Yoruba man. But the whole Igbo leader, the whole South and the South Seas, the whole whatever they call them, they join all of you together and they give you $1 million, you moron. Until today, you say your wickedness is not the worst. Not only that they joined, they brought Operation Python dance and they dance upon the head of your children. And the people you say you're representing, and you call yourself that you're not sick in the brain. Biafrans, my last advice, because nobody is calling, and we'll open our line now so that somebody will start to call. The last talk I want to say here is, the best thing is boycott the zoo election in whatever election they are doing. In other words, I want to say another thing before we start to make the call, is that like as I said in the last video before, that we don't have a headquarter, that Germany is the temporal headquarter. Then, but now, on the 6th, 8th and 9th of this month, our headquarter, I mean IPOB, the IPOB that is doing all what is shaking the whole world, the IPOB that are doing that thing, the headquarters will be open in Germany. So you have to tell all the people that are being used by the Igbo leaders, the Aru, whatever they call themselves, that live in America and all this. Do you see why as the Igbo leaders are the worst wicked people on the face of the earth? You saw IPOB moving. You saw the glory that is following IPOB. Therefore you went to collide and join yourself with Fulani to label us terrorists. And you saw the killing and the maiming. You saw how people are being roasted like chicken. You saw how they were killing and maiming people like Fulani herdsmen, killing people, and you saw this killing. Then you came in our means and you give some fools some money. And therefore they went and created their own radio station to jeopardize what we're doing. And one will tell me that you are not jeopardizing what we're doing. If you are not jeopardizing what we're doing, then you should not criticize our leader. You should not say that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is working against the restoration of Biafra. Do you know why? Because Nnamdi Kanu did not corruption. That is why he's jeopardizing the restoration of Biafra. He did not collect money. He is not a corrupt person. He did not collect none of your madness that you have. And look at person that he said that Nnamdi Kanu is destroying, or Uchemefo is destroying the restoration of Biafra. See madness.
Who is saying this?
This is no, not here. The Arrow, whatever they call themselves in America, say that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Uchemefo is working against the restoration of Biafra.
Seriously?
They are working against the restoration of Biafra because they did not accept the leadership of Igbo leader. in our struggle. And of course, you know that Igbo leaders have never contributed anything good. They are only slave of Fulani. And you want to tell me that a slave have right over his master? The Bible said no. Not only that, the Bible said no. Under normal circumstances, a slave is a slave. And he has no right even over his master property, let alone to talk about over his master. A slave remains a slave. And therefore, you cannot tell me that a slave will have access to liberation or freedom of people. Of course, you should know that the pattern is always like this. That the Almighty Chukwokika Abiyama, the God of all heaven and earth, who liberated the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, he did not send one of the slaves. He sent the one who was born in Egypt. Moses was an Egyptian name. It means drawn out of water. Moses was a honorable personality. Moses was supposed to be the prince of Egypt, of course. So you see all the glory and all the honor that is before him. That is whom the Lord chooses. And he has repeated the same thing again by choosing Master Namdekano, who you know he was not a slave. He is a British citizen. He has every right, every knowledge. Do you see why he went all over the world, uniting all of us? Because he has a significant passport that can give him access to all the citizens of Biafra in order to unite us together. Do you see that his credibility and potentials that was embedded in him that will make him to liberate Biafra is greater than any of you that call yourself Igbo leader or whoever you call yourself among the so-called the Arrow, whatever you call yourself in America. In fact, all of you, I repeat again, thank be to Almighty Chukwu Abiyama, who have given us the grace that eventually we can have a headquarter in Germany. If not, the Spanish could be running as mad people and saying that Spain is the headquarter of IPOB, and some people who do not know where IPOB headquarters really is. Of course, it's unfortunately that I will not be there. If not, I would have done a video live as I did during the time of Spanish time. Spain was actually the former headquarter of IPOB, and the glory were like them, just like the Adam. When the glory of Almighty was given to the angels of darkness, who disobeyed the Almighty and become a devil. That was how the glory was before. But because of the glory, they thought they can destroy Biafra and IPOB struggle. Though the blood of our people is not their concern, the killing of our people is not their concern. But they can hypocritically, just like the devil. Like what? The devil hypocritically thinks that he can give you favor. But the favor of the devil is favor, and he cut your head. Because he's leading you to somewhere. That is exactly what they are doing in Spain, that they thought that they could use it to destroy Biafra struggle. But I want to tell you something. Some of your agent may be watching me. You may transfer the story to your agent, but under normal circumstances, I did not mention any name here. All I said is Spain. And you know what? All your madness is enough, and all your madness cannot do anything. You can't destroy the struggle of Biafra restoration. Why? The Bible says, for the earnest expectation of the whole creation are waiting for the manifestation of the Son of God. In other words, you also have heard it from Wazirike, his mouth. When Wazirike said, even if a mad person come and talk Biafra, that everybody will run after him. That is to say, the suffering in the zoo is too terrible and is unbearable to any person. You can collect bribe from your Fulani, but the oppression and the suffering will let people to say, we don't want this. So, do you see why you cannot destroy Biafra struggle? You can't destroy Biafra struggle because the zoo is incompetent. They are not competent enough to recreate a nation and a country that everybody will be proud of. And as far as they are incompetent of doing that, automatically, that is where we have the advantage over them. And that is why the zoo called Nigeria must be crumbled. In other words, because of their incompetencies and because of their incredibilities and because of their wickedness in their mind and the service in which they render to the devil, which is only to destroy. Because of all this, do you see why people will always complain and cry for the freedom of their life from the cage? And because of the cry for that liberation, because the Bible says, for the creation, grown in bed pan, waiting for the adoption. You see that because of the suffering, people are waiting for who will come and liberate them. And because of that, you can't destroy Biafran struggle. Your master can go and collect money from Fulani and give to you while you're living in Europe. You know, you're living in Europe as, like as I said before, the life here is very bad. If you're living in Europe, you don't have money to build your own house. If you don't have money to build your own house, you are a slave to people who own a house because they collect a lot of money. You work, you pay house, and at the end of the day, your life will just be ruining. Do you see why? The only people that live a little bit better is when you are into drugging and you were into it for a long time and it fetch you a lot of money, and therefore you can build something significant like getting a supermarket and things like that where you can be running. That is only when you live a good life in Europe as far as black man is concerned. I'm talking of here in Europe, other part of Europe, or less like in London. In London, the same. If you don't have access to all the governors and all the ministers who pump money to you, people through trying to do all their madness, and from there you make a lot of money, or you work in a good company. And even when you're working in a good company, you pay a lot. And at the end of the day, you will remain a perpetual. You can't grow great. You can live in London even though they pay you £10,000. You can't live great. The reason why you cannot live great is because you cannot live beyond your income. It's only your income that will determine your success. And as far as the expenses is attached to your income, brother, at the end of the day, you will only be roaming around. The only thing is that you have a house or something like that in Africa, one business that is fetching you money and things like that. But living great is always when a country is really great and you live in your. For instance, if we are in Biafra land now, and the minimum wage of Biafra is like, let me just say, £2,000 under normal circumstances, £2,000, and you live in your mother's house or in your own house, because at least even though you live in your father's house, a little while after the liberation of Biafra, and we can be able to be paying, and the government can be paying up to £2,000 within space of time. You can already, because you always have access to a land already because it is your place, you can be able to build a house, and from there every other money you are building, you can really save it to really establish whatever you have as your potentials. Do you see why the liberation of Biafra is always the best for every person? But a moron will come and give you 1 million. And you know that when they call 1 million, your brain has already blown off. Now they will share small to you in Europe and to America. You pay your house bill a little while. And why the Fulani continue having private jet? Even their sons and daughters in America are having private jet. You are only roaming around and looking for one thing to pick and send to Africa. And you say you are not ashamed. You are working. You say Chemafo is your problem. In fact, shame on you guys. Okay, you come and talk to them. If you have anything to say.
Yeah.
In other words, if you have I have said it already before, the Spanish headquarter or whatever it has been called before is no more. Germany now is a headquarter of IPOB. I'm talking of the IPOB that is doing the real thing that is happening. I'm talking to some ignorant people who don't know anything or who are not in this struggle from the beginning, because we know how it started. And I cannot say anything here because I said it before. And therefore they went and report my video and they block it. And therefore I will not mention anything here like that nature again. The only thing I always say, this is how it works and this is how it is. And like as I said before, we don't have what we call COC, the coordinator of all coordinators. Again, the position is banned and forever it remain banned until further notice by the head of the Directorate of State. Thank you very much, dear friends.
Okay, I just want to share a few words. I'm Austrian, I'm married to Biafran, and therefore consider myself Biafran as well. And it's a hard matter for me that Biafra is being restored. Because from my perspective and from my range of experience, I know that is the only solution for Biafran people, for the indigenous people of Biafra, but as well for Africa as a whole. Fact is that, I mean, I've mentioned this many times, again and again. If you look at the situation of Nigeria, the way Nigeria was created, and then used by their colonial masters to exploit the land. Nigeria and its existence is not for the benefit of its people. And this is a very conscious realization that people start to, the first step always in liberation, the first step in freedom fighting is that you first of all sit there, you assess the situation, you realize, okay, this is how it is. This is exactly fact. This is the truth of the situation. And Nigeria has failed. Nigeria has not given any benefit for its people. Nigeria has only exploited the land via those colonial forces that are still, although it's not officially a colony again, still have their hands in everything. Like when I heard about the discovery of some very precious stones in Ebony land, who is harvesting those stones there is the British. So this is out of any, it should not be like this again, you know. And if you take a look at this, and this is what Nnamdi Kanu actually did, he came in with truth, and he said it the way it is. And you must know one thing, you know, I have studied education, but I have also studied psychology. So if you look at the human psyche, there is a phase, if you are living under oppression for a long time, then you get used to it. You don't even feel it again. You even defend this oppression as a state of normality, although it is actually a state of abnormality, you understand? So if you are in this kind of condition, you cannot liberate yourself at all. Okay. You cannot liberate yourself. It's impossible, because you identify yourself with the oppression you are in, and you will not realize it. And I am in this struggle now for many years, and I was observing what was going on in Biafra land. And in the beginning there was a lot of opposition, because people were not like forcibly against freedom, but they were so much used to all this oppression, to all this limitation, that they took it as their own. And this is the problem, and this is why truth is necessary, and this is why Nnamdi Kanu can really be called the savior of his people. And not only his people, but Africa, and let's call it, I don't want to say white and black and all this, I don't like it, you know me myself, but nevertheless for the black people as a whole. Because to see the truth, to name what is the problem, to name what has to be overcome, then to get an active role, to get actively involved, to change. And this is what we need of the common people now, because why I'm very happy is if you look at the number election, and Ipob, as far as I know, was also as good as boycotted.
We was boycotted, not as good as...
It was, yeah, because I was not watching it so much. So it was boycotted, and there was not even a lot of promotion being done. So these are not the ordinary people. These are now the everyday people you meet in Biafra land. So you people must know that you have the power. And it's now time, if you know the truth, you act according to the truth. My husband was before speaking about Hitler. So the oppression that we were facing in Europe, the kind of unemployment, it was a very terrible situation, you know. And in the beginning, as my husband stated, nobody in Austria wanted to see Hitler. Nobody would have agreed. So he had to move to Germany to convince the people there. From there he came back to conquer Austria, and then we didn't have any chance. And we had hope. We had hope that this one would bring a change. But from the moment on, we realized the truth of what was really going on, that people were killed secretly, that people were persecuted, that had a different opinion, that it was like a brainwash that you cannot imagine. More and more people started to stand up. And this is also when finally Hitler failed, you know. Sure, he was conquered by his enemy, but nevertheless, it were the people also that realized already what was going on. My grandfather many times told me of how it was. So this is the first step of change. And our society has really changed to the better for the people. And this is what I personally want to see in Biafra land. I want to see a betterment for the people, for everybody, so that the access to the resources is there, so that the resources are being used. Do you know what kind of human resources you have? Not only natural resources. You have oil, you have all these things that we don't timber, yeah, metal, whatever. But I'm not even talking about this. I'm talking about human resources. Human resources means the intelligence, the brain of people. Don't you see how you people fought Biafran war? The way you conquered the enemy without any weapons. These people, and when I was listening to, we were listening together to this Ghana president, when he was saying all this energy power that our young people are using to conquer the desert, to try to come to Austria. This energy and power should be used within the country, should be used in the homeland to deliver the people, to set the land free, to set the people free.
And that cannot happen. Do you see why that cannot happen, Karen?
Yeah, fine.
Do you know why that cannot happen? That is why I said the zoo is the problem we're having. Is the problem of Africa is envy. That cannot happen because, for instance, look at a company like that of Innocent. Innocent company should be one of the greatest significant point of a contact in which the Nigerians could be using as a pride of Nigeria. If Nigeria government should invest 2 trillion or however whenever they are budgeting all their Zaborum or budget, they budget heavy part of the money to this Innocent as a borrow, not like given to Igbo man, as a borrow.
Sorry.
Man, the company will be expanded. And a lot of workers will be working, and the company will be expanded, and it will extend it to different places. Like German, for instance, we have Mercedes, we have BMW, we have MAN, and other companies. Do you know that here in this my small village, we have we have MAN, we have that is Man Diesel, and we have BMW. Even in this my small village, do you see that now? And maybe in Vienna, I don't know if they have it as well. I'm talking of, and this is German company. They extend it to different level of play and different branches and many places because the cars are being driven in different places. And you know what? In Nigeria population, that's why under normal circumstances, the zoo would have been the best if it is no stupidity and foolishness to be one, because we could have at least in Nigerian citizens, if under normal circumstances, I think we are more than 3 million people living in the zoo, and at least in every blessed year, Innocent will sell at least more than 1 million car. More than 1 million car. I'm talking of in Nigeria now, every blessed day. I'm telling you, that will boom the economy, and that will radiate a lot of poverty from different angles, and the expansion, because the tax that Nigeria government will be getting from Innocent, they will use it to build a lot of roads, they will use it to do a lot of things, and a lot of inventions will come out from there, because electricity will be established, and money will be there for some inventions to enter into whatever being given by the Almighty. For instance, here in Europe, we don't have what do they call it? We don't have only car production companies. We have a lot of inventions. We have people that invented, or even ordinary sweeping the ground have been invented. How about a plug? How about a computer? How about a speaker? How about standing? All this is standing something. They are all this invented by individuals, and all these things are bringing a lot of money to the government. How about all this baby carriage? All these are bringing a lot of money to the government. How about all this what do they call it? All these curtains. All these spurious curtains are being produced only in Europe, and there are all hotels in the world are using. And you know what? Because you bring a very strong and beautiful curtains that is being produced, it has to come from Europe. Why can't it be produced at least in Nigeria? Why can't it be produced in Nigeria? And we have the population. But the problem is that the people that are capable of this are only Igbo people. Mainly, the people that are capable of this, only Igbo people. And these Igbo people don't want them to progress, because they think that these people, when they progress, they will become our God. They will become like our leader. They will become only the one who will be looking onto. But it is not your doing. It is God's doing. And as far as if it is God doing, why can't you allow them to progress? Do you see why African continent will continue to, in fact, to fall like a fool and remain as dark as they are? People that are given potentials are God-given gifts. It is not man-made. The only thing you should do as a person is to come and learn from them and implement it. For instance, look at even the slave during the time of slave trade. I had a story that Igbo price is more than other people price. Why? Because the Westerners know that these men are capable of things. These are God-given. It's not man-making. It is a God-given. And as far as it is God-given, one don't envy it. One will only allow that because it is for the glorious of a continent, and it is a glorious for the city, because at the end of the day, Igbo man will not use it to subjugate you. Igbo man will not use it to suppress you. Rather, it will expatiate the beauty of the country, and the continent will become beatified. But the foolishness is envy. That is why I say envy from the beginning is the cause. And you know what? The Igbo leaders themselves being so stupid, they did not learn from what has happened to them before and use it at this moment, because under normal circumstances, as they deny you, you don't deny yourself. What you should do is you gather the remaining of the chain of yourself, and at least in a small component, and organize yourself and become so stable and so unmovable. And when you become so unmovable, then the enemy will be afraid of you, because there's nothing they can do rather than only succumbing. At the end of the day, they will succumb to you. But when they manage to defeat you, of course, there's nothing you can do. Then you rather become their slave. That is it. And that is the reason why we continue to become the slave of even Fulani that cannot even invent or lead or actually do something significant to the continent. Do you see why the zoo, as far as it's concerned, and in other words, the zoo is considered to be the greatest, and not only that, do you know that among the Igbos, it's not only the Igbos that are the greatest blessed people in the whole continent of Africa? Because I have seen some Africa, somebody like from Uganda that invented electricity, or from was it from Kenya, that invented the electricity this thing through one just gathering of one metal or the other, and the guy built something. What is from Uganda? Even the white people came and he analyzed to them in a congregation like this how that was built. And that is to tell you that it is blessed by, it is God given, give by everybody. So they should allow those stars to spring out and stand, and the continent will arise. But the more you suppress all those things by the reason of your mad, selfish, what you call envious character, the more the continent will remain as dark as it is. And you know what? You may kill IPOB members, you may subjugate them, you may suppress them, but at the end of the day, human will continue, including your generation, will continue crying for this very mad state in which we are now. And until that stand, until that change, you may call yourself a Do, you may call yourself a Yoruba, you may call yourself anywhere. At the end of the day, you will be, in fact, your children will go to Libya again and they will roast them like chicken. That is only what I have to say. And because there's no call,
yeah, we didn't really even put it on.
It had been on.
Yeah, but not connected to my phone.
It is at home. But your phone is not called at all.
Yeah, it's silent.
Well, take the phone and then let's see. Do anybody want to call, or if you don't want to call and contribute, I will go off, because enough is enough. So the only thing is that we will continue doing this until Biafra comes.
The only thing that I wanted to add is, given the current circumstances, the best way for you people in Biafra land is to be united 100%. Because civil disobedience, like this staying at home at elections and so on and so forth, is a very strong, peaceful means of showing the system we are out.
And at the end of the day, the zoo will crumble naturally, without struggle.
They, exactly, and the people later will realize. I saw one post today that I approved. Later on, if Biafra stands and they see what they actually have let go, you know, they will realize what mistakes they have made.
They know it now. They know it now.
But they don't.
They know it now. But the only thing is that envy will not allow that to happen. A those state governor said it, that Igbo people are China and the Korea and all these people we are going, that if we can really allow them, that the country will be beautified.
Yeah,
they know, but they don't want it to
but
be.
But there is
they
no
don't
problem.
want.
If you look at Europe, European Union or whatever, you know, we countries, we have our small countries, like Austria is a very small nation, then we have Germany, we have different ones, and nevertheless we don't fight each other, we don't envy each other, we live independently.
And another thing is, for instance, which car did Austria produce? Which car did Austria produce apart from that style? Apart from that style, because it's not there, it's not yet.
Don't have any
So
current.
they don't produce any significant car again, apart from one of the truck they call tire, because that is the only, and this is the city. And but they drive BMW, they drive all these Favres and all these European made cars, and they are proud of it.
Volvo,
and they are not the one that do it, but they are proud of it. They are proud of it.
And we have German companies here. That's not the problem.
Why can't we support the one that know how to do the thing, and it will be done, and all of us will support it? Why? That is why Africa can never rise. It can never rise. How?
But it will rise.
It can never rise. As far as it is like this,
it will rise. If
it will never
Biafra
rise.
stands,
That is only when Biafra stand. If Biafra stand, by the grace of Almighty, that as we, for instance, people were calling Radio Biafra yesterday night, and a lot were lamenting and saying, we don't want you people to fail us. We are here to restore Biafra, and we're not failing anybody. We have laid down our life, and it is until Biafra is restored. It is until Biafra is restored, because there's no other way. There's nothing like maybe we should not fail. We are not failing. And nobody can fail as far as Biafra's struggle is concerned. The lamentation of our people are very terrible, and nobody can fail. We can't fail. The only thing is that whoever that is tired, chicken, stop doing that. Roll it back. Whoever that is tired in the struggle and want to just pack from aside, you can just pack aside. And if you think you can go and sell us to the Nigerian government, at the end of the day, the implication, it will be leaked. Then you pack aside as well. Just like others, you have also seen how others pack out and they went and formed their own radio to fight against us. But the problem is, as far as human continues suffering, the lamentation continues because it is the urge in man. Why? To live a good life. And as far as that is concerned, we are not contemplating to succumb or to maybe say bye-bye to the struggle. It is impossible. It is until Biafra is restored. It is until Biafra is restored, because we are the ones suffering the same change. The people, they roasted their brothers and sisters. The people that they sell their brothers and sisters. And there's many of them that are being killed in Nigeria government as a python dance on all this, their rubbish. We are all suffering this. And because of this, we are not interested in giving out. And like as you know, our director said, if only 100 resolute men can stand, Biafra will be restored. And I want to tell you that we have more than 1,000 resolute men that want to only Biafra struggle. And it does not matter how much you give us. We are not accepting any bribe. As far as I'm concerned, I am not ready to collect any bribe. The Bible says, bribe blind the eyes of the wise. In other words, the Bible says, to him who knows what to do, and do it not to him it is sin. Do you see why the whole pastors in the zoo, as many that join themselves with the Nigerian government, do you see why they will never make heaven? Do you see why? Because they have endangered the life of many people. And therefore, by the reason of their abomination, many miss heaven. And all of them, many are suffering. And many desolated family. Many families have been desolated. Many families have been stopped. Many families have been killed. A lot of atrocity have been committed. And you support such government, you will never, as far as Bible concerned, see the light of the kingdom of God. That is it. So, bye-bye, Biafrans, and good day from now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.